Today's show is brought to you by JobScan. JobScan is a site where, frankly, they take some of the issues with the black hole, the applicant tracking system, and really help you fix your resume so that it's able to get through the system. Now, the way it was started out is there was a job hunter named James who was running into problems getting his resume through the applicant tracking systems because he found that they were parsing, ranking, and filtering resumes with algorithms. So what he did was develop a system that helps you figure out how your resume matches up against specific jobs and makes recommendations for how to tweak it to make it get through the systems. Not 100% perfect, but much, much better than what most people get. So use the link in the show notes. You will get better results with your resume when you submit it through the ATS. Now, we'll be back in just one moment. Episode 2118 of No BS Job Search Advice Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. This is going to be a little bit longer of an intro, and I'll start by saying this show I originally recorded when I still did recruiting. It was originally recorded as video. There's a brief reference to it as a video, and I just thought the material was good about preparing the job search. The other part of this is I miss my wife. She's been with her sister in the New York area since the middle of December. Her sister's been ill. Mental illness has taken hold in her, has two kids, one special needs, one kid is like 19 and in college, and her sister isn't functional. Is on disability now. This is post-COVID stuff. I'm just going to say to you folks, COVID is no joke. It is no joke, and anyone who tells you the contrary is lying to you. She didn't really have symptoms, but she's what's referred to as a long hauler. And, they've started to give her medication to try and manage the anxiety, manage the mental illness episodes. And my wife has been with her for more than 4 months now. So I miss her. We talk daily multiple times, but I miss my wife. And I just felt the need to say that to encourage anyone who listens to this show, get vaccinated. It's no joke. And we'll be back in just one moment. Today's show is brought to you by Skillshare.com. At Skillshare.com, they have thousands of classes available, not just simply about business or job hunting, but lots of different classes on a host of different subjects. Almost anything you can think of, and they have one low price associated with your learning. They have classes about particular technologies you can learn, pottery, public speaking. I have a half dozen of my classes about job hunting there. Writing, photography, film, almost anything you can think of, they have Skillshare classes available. Now, if you use my link, thebiggamehunter.us/Skillshare, they'll offer a free trial and 30% off if you decide to join. There's a lot to learn, and Skillshare is a place where you can learn it. Now, let's get back to today's show. This is a video about working with recruiters, which I know is a sore subject for many of you. You can tell me all sorts of awful stories about your experience with them, but I don't want to get into that right now. I just know that in the work that I do, I know that I'm able to help people. Obviously not everyone, because I receive spammed resumes from people who in no way, shape, or form fit what they're applying for or anything else I might ever work on, and they become absolutely indignant and demanding that I reach out to them and interview them. Why? But I'll simply say, here's some ways of being effective in working with a recruiter. First of all, you have to remember that recruiters are human beings, and they're not slaves to be ordered around or yelled at when you feel like throwing a tantrum. I've had people call me up to complain about an interview that another recruiter set up for them, and they're yelling at me. Why? I'm not someone to be
uh, targeted for abuse because of someone else's behavior any more than you are. It's like having your boss yell at you because someone else didn't do something. It makes no sense. So we're human beings. You also have to remember who's paying the recruiter. Are you paying them? No, a company is paying them. A company is paying them to fill a job. A company is not paying them to place you in a job. And before you start telling me, well, they need me in order to be able to fill the job, ultimately, there's more people like you that they can find than there are clients that are going to pay them. So you need to remember that a firm is paying them to find people to fill their positions. They're paid to locate, assess, refer, and cause actions that will lead to a position being filled. To do that, they blend the client's needs with yours, but they don't work for you. I repeat, they do not work for you, nor do we get you hired. You do. You do all the hard work. Their job is to just figure out whether you're qualified to fill a position that a client has defined for them and whether you would fit into the company's culture. That's it. Nothing more. The first thing that you can do to get a recruiter to call you is to either send them a resume that actually fits the job that they're trying to fill, or position your LinkedIn profile. Actually, there's three things. Position your LinkedIn profile in a way that it's attractive for them to find you. Or third, be referred by someone who knows them well, who knows that they're trying to fill a particular job that fits your background. Now, on the resume front, if you send the same resume out to every firm, you're only going to get a few responses because it's not tailored to the firm's particular recruiting requirement. Same thing with third-party recruiters. If you send the same resume out over and over to all of them without being aware of what they're looking for, you're not going to get a lot of response because it doesn't fit what they need. And when you're doing it, make the fit obvious. Use the same language that's in their advertising if you've seen an ad in order to make it obvious. With your LinkedIn profile, that's more passive. So you want it to be SEO optimized, as I mentioned in a recent video. You want to have the terms that a recruiter in your field will be looking for and avoid the ones that are unique to your company. And as for being referred by someone, as always, it's the most ideal situation to get yourself on someone's radar. So if you are referred, it's more likely that you're going to be called, even if you're not quite a fit. Can't guarantee it. There are times I'm too busy to just do social work, as I call it, and reach out to someone for the sake of talking to them and being nice. Again, no one pays me to be nice. I'm paid to be effective. Track every resume that you send out, so that this way, when someone calls you, you're not, which job was this again? There's nothing that feels more stupid for you or lets them know that you've been blasting your resume out to the Western Hemisphere. Then, which job was this anyway? Better to simply say, if you don't recall offhand, to simply say, I'd love to speak with you. Can I call you back in 20 minutes? Then locate which job it was from the notes that you took about it. When you speak to a recruiter about a job that they're trying to fill, ask them what it was in their resume or background that caused them to want to speak with you. Remember, recruiters are looking to fill jobs, and by asking a question like that, what you're able to do is zero in on the elements of your background that relate to what they care about, rather than just simply talking about what you've done. Next thing is try to develop a relationship with a recruiter. Skip the elevator pitch. I don't really want to hear it. I don't know of many recruiters who want to hear them. I don't know many people who want to hear them, but certainly not recruiters. It takes time to build a relationship. Doesn't mean that you have to call them every day or every week. Lord knows. But, like your aunt or uncle, you call them every once in a while and simply say, hi, I want to see how you were, bring up the day what was going on with me. do it in about 5 minutes time, see how you were, if there was anything I can be doing to help you. That offer of helping them with potential referrals is a great way to get more attention from them. If you ask the recruiter when they're getting back to you, listen carefully to the answer. The fact of the matter is, an honest recruiter will tell you that they'll be back in touch with you by email or phone when they have something useful to report. When I know when I'll be speaking with my client, they may offer a vague idea when I'll be back in contact. Beyond that, everything else is bull. Don't do it.
So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, I've got a lot that's in the show notes that will help you. Go there, take a look at some of the things I highlight. I know it can help you with your search. But I want you to do one thing for me, and that is put in your phone thebiggamehunter.us, Jeff Altman, my name. And when you need help, when you need advice, when you have a question, come over to the website, go exploring in the blog, contact me for coaching or because you have a question. I'd love to help you. In the meantime, I hope you have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great! Support for today's show comes from Grammarly. Grammarly has a free version that you can get as a Chrome extension, or there's a premium version that provides a lot more. Now, the Chrome extension is terrific. I used it for a couple of years, and it's only when I started writing books again that I started to look at upgrading to the paid version of the product, which is $100 for a year, if I recall correctly. Now, it works with almost everything, and it will help you with your writing. And frankly, from having read resumes for years, most of you don't write as well as you think you do. And one thing I discovered along the way is the use of commas has changed from the time I was doing a lot of writing until now. Grammarly will help you fix it easily. So again, use the link in the show notes and download the Chrome extension, or consider buying the premium version. Whichever way you go, you can't go wrong.